It is becoming critically important that we pay attention to these markets. We need to talk about it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. And do you know what the fish said when he swam into a wall? Nothing, because fish don't speak. To those of you who know the actual punchline to that joke, I know it's probably irritating that I didn't exactly say it, but I'll leave it out there for you to tell your friends, and you're welcome for the reminder. So we need to take a look at Nvidia's chart. We need to look at QQQ, SPY, and see what's going on. We'll also take a peek at Tesla, and we'll do an update on Bitcoin as well in this video. And like I said, absolutely critical time to be watching these markets, especially because we got the Nvidia GTC keynote, and we need to see the price action that happened as a result. So here's Nvidia's chart as we're looking at it. And we were in this consolidation pattern. You can see we couldn't quite break out of it leading up to it. Sold off, tested the bottom of this thing, peekabooed out of it towards the market close. Bought into it a little bit. Now we're falling out through the bottom of this. Falling out through the bottom could be a continuation of this pattern. We have support right at about 850. We'll find out today if we test that and the support holds, we're in good shape. If we test that and then fail to come back up to this trend line and then retest, chances are we're going to come down through this 850, and then we'll find out if we have solid support at 800. We're going to have to be watching for that one. So that's a possibility for us. If we break back through this resistance that we have here on this trend line, then it is possible that we go and we retest that 900 line. As a matter of fact, I will even put out a 900 line here for you. So 891, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. That's about $900 right there. And so we'll see if we do make it back to that. Like I said, we have to make it back up inside this trend line resistance that we have right now. And it looks like 850 might be in the cards today. We'll see if it tends to go lower from that, or if we bounce, then we got to watch resistance for that. And we want to break up back through that resistance if we want to continue in a bullish direction. Now, take a look at the markets itself. We have this pattern that I announced over at the Discord before making this video. So if you want to see those more live updates, you can find that link for the Patreon down in the description. Join us in the Discord, talk with me and the community members. So what we have right now, we had a consolidation pattern. We broke down through it. We were able even to peekaboo back up and test out resistance all the way up here. So we can even get rid of this trend line if you want to here. And then what you see is 1, 2, 3 touches down here at 433.66, where I have this yellow support line right here, red arrow pointing to it, because it is absolutely critical that we watch that. Now, mind you, that means that Nvidia isn't completely in charge, but Nvidia can most definitely influence the markets as we have, especially because of the AI strength that has brought the rally to the markets and really put the wind back in its sails, if you will. So as that wind dies down, the market can also die off a little bit with it. So we need to be watching for that. So because if you look at what we have for the Qs, there's not a lot of horizontal support that we have. Maybe down to 828 if we break down through that, maybe down 428 down to about 420. So we would need to be watching for that. If we go back out to the daily chart, we can see a little bit more of what's going on there as well. Let me reset the chart view so we have a better view with that. And the 50-day is at about 427. I think that we could actually get a pretty firm bounce. I said 428. Firm bounce at that. Maybe we peekaboo down below that, possibly down to, like I said, about 420. Down below that is about 413. That's if we push down through 433.66. So we want to watch for the break, the retest, and then we could possibly get a further fall. If that retest resistance holds, then that's our signal for us that we could drop another couple percent in the market before testing out what we have for the 50-day. We're above the 200 and the 50, so shorting is a little bit dangerous because right now we're still in bullish territory. You see the rounding to the top here, and you can see previously when we got down near it, or even when we tested out the 20-period moving average, which is snaking through here as well, that ended up being significant support for us. So we're going to have to watch, I think, that 50 EMA and SMA, which are in here. Let me stretch that out. We'll bring that down. We'll zoom in on it. There we go. Right here, the red and the blue that you see, this is the 50 SMA in blue, 50 EMA in red. Got to be watchful for those. And like I said, we need to see what happens. Orange line right here shows you just how close we are right now to this. And then moving down to that support at about $428 per share. We need to be watchful for that. So we could possibly sell down. We could possibly find that as support. Need to be extra careful if that does happen, that we don't try and short right at the 50-day. Now, mind you, not only would shorting be against the trend, but we'd also be shorting right into significant support at the 50-period moving averages. So that is even more tricky, if you will, to time that right. We have the FOMC meeting concluding tomorrow. It starts today. Tomorrow we find out with the summary of economic projections how many rate cuts the Fed is expecting to happen through 2024 and 2025. By the end of the year, we're going to be watching for that to see how that dot plot works out. I'm going to be reporting on that as well. That's going to be absolutely huge for us to watch that. Let's move over to SPY. We got a head and shoulders pattern possibly building here. We have the bottom of our rising wedge trend line. We need to see if that holds as support. If it fails as support, then we have the neckline and we could possibly have a confirmation. I'm actually going to sneak that up just a little bit. Puts us at about 508. 508 breaks. We fall down through here, retest resistance at that point. If we're down below it, then it's resistance. And then we could possibly see a further sell from there. Now, mind you, if support holds, then we could possibly test out the previous high that we had about where this is, somewhere between 514, 515. And if we break that, then we can look up to 518. Some of that pressure will likely come off when the Fed speaks. Now, mind you, it could also be something that would be downward pressure for us and push us down even lower. We're going to have to hear what the Fed has to say. I think if they said no rate cuts or one rate cut at 25 basis points, that could certainly be impactful to what we would see from that, and we have to pay attention to it. So I moved down to the daily chart because I want to show you on this one where the 50 SMA is. That's all the way down at 496. So that would drop us about 3% from where we're at right now to get all the way down there. And that would be a 3% thump in the markets even over that time. Now, mind you, there's a lot of people talking about correction, that there's one due for us. I would say that it would be nice to see that correction come in for a lot of stocks to give us better opportunities and more confidence in how much upside we have exactly. Now, mind you, if we keep on running up, that makes it harder to go long because you don't know where that top is. And having a strong cash position in these points in time to find out where those opportunities lie, that can certainly be a time. I have been building my cash position. It's that time to make sure that I'm ready to go to capitalize on the deals as they come along. So SPY, we need to be watching out for that head and shoulders to see if we come down and actually form a neckline on this. And if we break that neckline, then it confirms the pattern. Got to watch for the retest, and then we could possibly have a sell off of that. Tesla, bit of an update on that. We actually filled out this small bearish flag pattern, if you will, and then we actually had good news on price hikes for the Model Y. Brought us back up. We tested out resistance here. Now we're selling off just a little bit in the pre-market hours. We'll see how that treats us for Tesla. If we do fail to break that, we could come back down and we could test out 160 again. Got to be watched for that. This horizontal support that we have here is at about 167, which can also be decent support for us. So breaking out of this pattern that we have, this descending wedge pattern, we could have a reversal coming on the way for Tesla. We're going to have to be watching for it if we think that that's overdone. If we break down through the bottom of this thing, then we can put our eyeballs on 150, downward from 160. If we break to the upside of this thing, then we got to look at 180, 185, 190, 195, and 200. So it's about $5 increments for Tesla to the upside of this. So that's exactly what I'm watching for Tesla as well. And I will play either side of it with the options plays that are out. And I will dollar cost average my position as we see these prices, especially at what could be a discount for Tesla moving forward from here. Bitcoin, just to give an update on that, we're selling down. We're getting close to that 200-day simple move. I'm sorry, this is the 4-hour period. So 200 of the 4 hours moving average that we have here. That could be significant support for us, especially because we're down near 60,000 for that. So we would need to be watching for Bitcoin. We could possibly have a little bit further of a sell. It looks like we could be getting close to a bounce from where we're at right now. We're going to have to see if we can break through this resistance that we have. It looks like we have a little bit of a trend line happening for Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin, right across the bottom here, I would say that this is decent, and you can see that that would line up with a point of confluence for support down on the bottom side of this. And to the top side, here's the resistance that we're looking for. As a matter of fact, though, more recently, I think I like what I see across the tops here on a 4-hour basis. So that would take us back up to about 66 or 67,000, and we need to break through that resistance to see further upside. Further downside, if we fail to break that resistance, we could come back down. We could start looking for 60,000 if we get rejected at resistance for Bitcoin. So guys, if you want to see what I'm buying and selling, how I'm playing these markets, I have a link for the Patreon down in the description. And also if you want my technical analyses, my technicals on watch as I call them, I post those over at the Discord, which is also available through the Patreon. So you can talk with me, talk with my community members, and pick my brain. We can share ideas with each other. Like I said, that link is down in the description. Also down in the description, you'll find a link for the technical analysis trading course. If you click that and sign up, not only do you get hours upon hours worth of videos that are short, sweet, concise pieces of information, and there's also PDFs over there as well that break down technical analyses step-by-steps about moving averages, about the different candlestick patterns that you have, about what Stockmo would call the bread recipe. That link is also down in the description. There is a learning community that goes along with that as well. So by signing up, not only do you get lifetime access to the course, but you also get lifetime access to the community as well. Guys, I'm going to let you go. As always, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.